Good morning, students. Is my voice is audible? Okay. Is everything fine? Okay. So in our BTech curriculum, one of the most important subject is strength of material. So in strength of material, so I will give a lecture on thermal stresses. So before going to the thermal stresses, we should learn some basics related to that. So let proceed. So strength of material. So our subject strength of material. Strength of materials is very important subject in BTech, and this is the basic subject for even for machine design, mechanics. It forms a basics for all remaining subjects. So strength of material we can also call as mechanics of solids, MOS, mechanics of solids. So one of the subtopic in strength of material is thermal stresses. So let learn thermal stresses. What are thermal stresses? Examples of thermal stresses. Before going to the thermal stresses, I want to give some basics or fundamentals of what is stress, what is strain. So later we can move to the thermal stresses. Okay, first of all, stress. Stress sigma equal to load by area, right? Everyone knows. But actually when we in the derivation of the stress equal load by area, we consider Saint Venant principle. Okay, right? We have one assumption also. So actually this sigma is the stress at axial load, right? This stress at axial load. That means simply this is not the stress, it is the stress. We can also say it is the axial stress, right, at axial load. So for example, if I say this is a 1 bar, for example this is a 1 bar, so having length L, material properties area and material properties E. For example, if I say load, this is the axial load, right? So this is the axial load. For this axial load, we can write the formula stress. Stress is equal to, actually this is axial stress, right? This is the axial stress. This load is the axial load. So this is the about stress. Now if I talk about strain epsilon is equal to change in dimension, right? Change in dimension by original dimension, right? Change in dimension by original dimension. Change in dimension by original dimension, right? For example, in length, in terms of length, if I want to write, I can write change in length by original length. For example, in terms of like height, delta h by h, right? If I want to write in diameter, delta d by d, that means change in dimension by original dimension. That is about strain. Okay. Now strain has no units. Okay. If I talk about units of stress, then it is stress units, that is Newton per meter square, right? We can, according to the requirement, we will convert gigapascal or megapascal, even bars, pressure can be expressed in bars, right? So strain has no units. So no units. So before going to the thermal stresses, these are the some basics required for the understanding of thermal stresses. In that, first one is stress, second one is strain. Even though these are basics, but these are required to understand these thermal stresses. Okay. Now if I talk about axial deformation. Now if I talk about axial deformation, so since I told the load which I talked before, that is the axial load. The stress, what are the stress I discussed, that is axial stress. Now I am talking about axial deformation, right? So this is very important, axial. So axial deformation, generally people denote with some delta L, okay? We can use some delta L, or we can also use some delta, right? Axial deformation, right? Now, for example, few cases, right? Few cases I will discuss in axial deformation for only to understand the thermal stresses, right? So for example, if I take prismatic bar, first case, right? Prismatic bar. My dear student, I want to explain here prismatic. What is the meaning of prismatic? For example, in day-to-day life, we have seen in our houses, right? For example, prismatic means what? Prismatic means the cross-section dimensions remains along the length, right? Cross-section dimensions are I can say cross-section dimensions are not changing throughout the length. That is called prismatic, right? In our house, we can see that prismatic. Now, for example, in prismatic bar of length L, having area, right, and material property is E, right? We know, so earlier I discussed already, stress is equal to load by area, strain is equal to change in dimension by original dimension, right? Now, according to the Hooke's law, okay, according to Hooke's law, we know okay, according to Hooke's law we know stress directly proportional to strain, right? My dear student, here one point I want to remember here. This is the proportionality, right? Proportionality symbol. See, whenever we remove the proportionality, we get 1 equals to, right? 1 equals to symbol, and with that one constant. The constant name may be Young's modulus or rigidity, modulus of rigidity, or it may be bulk modulus. Okay, even in case of thermal stresses, we get coefficient of thermal expansion. But one thing you need to remember, that whenever I remove this, right, whenever I proportional, I will get 1 equal to symbol and one constant, right? One constant, that is capital E. Here capital E, right? It will change to, for example, if I say shear stress directly proportional to shear strain, then I will get modulus of rigidity, right? If I say volumetric stress directly proportional to volumetric strain, then I will get bulk modulus, right? Now here from here I am writing here, right? In place of sigma I can write, right? In place of sigma I can write load by area, right? Load by area, that is equal to, in place of E as it is, in place of strain, right? In place of strain I can write change in dimension by original dimension, that is delta L by L, right? From here, so our main requirement is delta L, right? That is the axial deformation. I want axial deformation in case of prismatic bar, right? So delta L is equal to PL by AE. Delta L is equal to PL by AE. So this is the axial deformation in case of prismatic bar, right? For example, if I talk about non-prismatic bar, then axial deformation will change, right? Or in non-prismatic bar, stepped bar, for example, if I take stepped bar, right, axial deformation will be different. For circular tapered bar, the axial deformation will be different. For square tapered bar, axial deformation will be different. For example, rectangular tapered bar with constant thickness, the deformation will be different, right? But one thing we must understand here, this formula is applicable only under some conditions, right? We cannot use every time. So this formula we can use only under some conditions, right? So that is also very important. Now I will move to that, the conditions, where what are the conditions to use this formula axial deformation equal to PL by AE, right? Now axial deformation delta L equal to PL by AE, right? This is the axial deformation for prismatic bar. That is important. This is the axial deformation for prismatic bar, right? Some conditions, right? Conditions. If I talk about conditions where we have to use this axial deformation, right? First condition is member should be prismatic, right? First one is member should be, first condition is member should be prismatic. I already mentioned, I already defined what is prismatic. Prismatic means the cross section dimension does not change with respect or throughout the length. Okay, it's called prismatic. Now member should be prismatic. Okay, so whenever you want to use the formula of this axial deformation PL by AE, the member should be prismatic, right? Member should be prismatic. Member should be prismatic. Okay, already I defined what is prismatic. Okay, now second one, the axial load, right? The axial load. That is the reason earlier I have mentioned about what is the axial load, right? So the axial load should be same. The axial load should be same along the length. Should be same along the length. So this is the second condition, right? Third condition is material should obey Hooke's law, right? Should obey Hooke's law. Should obey Hooke's law. Should obey Hooke's law. My dear student, please understand, under these conditions only we can use the formula PL by AE, right? So member should be prismatic, and second one is the axial load should be, right? The axial load should be same throughout the length, right? The axial load should be same throughout the length and should obey Hooke's law. Under this condition only we can use the formula PL by AE. And that too, this is only for prismatic bar. Okay, right? Only for prismatic bar we can use this formula, right? Prismatic bar. Prismatic bar, right? Okay. Now